Hi there. It's January 16th, Tuesday, and it's time for Proverbs 16 and our never-ending search for wisdom and knowledge. Let's jump over there. We're using the English Standard Version, and I have my pre-1984 NIV on the desk here. Analog Bible. Verse 1. The plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Right. Make all the plans you want. All the ways of a man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit. See, these two go together. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. You see? All three of these go together. You could just put all three of these in one thing. We can read them all together. The plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. There you go, see? That could go right along with verse 1. Cool. The Lord has made everything for its purpose, even the wicked for the day of trouble. Okay? The Lord made everything. My favorite verse is John 1:2. Says, John 1:1 says, "In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And verse 2 says, "Through him all things were made, and without him nothing was made that was made." Okay? Everything is made by the Lord. The devil does not have the power to create anything, only to pervert things that the Lord created. Remember that when you're saying, "Oh, that's the devil's instrument." No, the devil didn't make anything. Okay? We'll just highlight that, just since we talked about it so much. Make it pink. Verse 5. Everyone who is arrogant in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Be assured, he will not go unpunished. What's that say in the NIV? The Lord detests all the proud of heart. Be sure of this, they will not go unpunished. Yes. People who walk around like that, with their nose in the air, God doesn't like that. He likes humble. Humble, humble. All over Proverbs it says, be humble, not arrogant. Okay? By steadfast love and iniquitous and faithfulness, iniquity is atoned for. And by fear of the Lord, one turns away from evil. Right. Fear of the Lord, one turns away from evil. Now he was talking, and yesterday we were reading the last chapter of Job, 41 actually, not 42. And he was talking about he created the behemoth and the leviathan. Okay, the behemoth is thought to be a dinosaur, actually, huge, and he described it in great detail. Then he described a leviathan, which was probably a 50-foot alligator that breathed fire. And nothing can touch it. No arrow or sword, nothing can penetrate it. Nothing can tame it. And it was then. And it was King David talked about it too, and it's talked about in other places. Something called the Leviathan, some kind of a sea creature that breathed fire. And he says, "I made that, and it fears me." So, if you fear the most awesome, terrible predator on the face of the earth, you should fear me even more. Okay? Fear, awe, respect. Okay? That makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Okay, verse 7. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Okay? Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues with injustice. Right. I would rather be poor and right than be rich and wrong. Okay? The heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. That goes along with the first three verses. Huh? Kind of catching a theme on this chapter. An oracle is on the lips of a king. His mouth does not sin in judgment. Well, we don't have kings anymore, so we don't have anybody with that much power, although they want to have that much power. Okay, verse 11. A just balance and scales are the Lord's. All the weights in the bag are his work. Just balance and scales. He mentions this all over Proverbs too. Solomon does. That's something today we talked about a few days ago called shrinkflation, where their manufacturers are making things smaller and putting them in bigger boxes and charging you more. The Lord hates that. It says that all over it. Right? It is an abomination to kings to do evil, for the throne is established by righteousness. Get that? That goes on towards the end. We're getting towards the end, and that's going on everywhere. Everywhere. 13. Righteous lips are the delight of a king, and he loves him who speaks what is right. A king's wrath is a messenger of death, and a wise man will appease it. Like that. Make the king happy. In light of a king's face there is life. In the light of a king's face there is life, and his favor is like the clouds that bring the spring rain. How much better to get wisdom than gold? To get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver, right? Wisdom is better than gold, silver, money, knowledge, wisdom. 17. The highway of the upright turns aside from evil. Whoever guards his way preserves his life. Get that? 18. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Your grandma used to say, this pride goeth before a fall. Okay? That's an old one. That's an old one. It is better to be of a lowly spirit with the poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. Okay? Whoever gives thought to the word will discover good, and blessed is he who trusts in the Lord. Right? It's this word, or to a matter. What's that saying here? 20. Whoever gives heed to instruction prospers, and blessed is he who trusts in the Lord. Right. Always look at this stuff first before you make decisions. Get a long way. 21. The wise of heart is called discerning, and sweetness of speech increases persuasiveness. Right. Smooth talking people. Right. That's why discerning goes along with that, you know. Somebody, a salesman, smooth, talking, sweet, persuasive. And be discerning. 22. Good sense is a foundation of life to him who has it. But the instruction of fools is folly, or foolishness. Good sense is a fountain of life to him who has it. Anybody who has good sense. Right. The heart of the wise makes his speech judicious, and adds persuasiveness to his lips. What does that say over here? A wise man's heart guides his mouth, and his lips promote instruction. Right. A wise man's heart guides his mouth. Right. Know when not to say anything, and keep your mouth shut. All right. 24. Gracious words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body. Gracious words. Right? Say good things. Always find good things to say to people. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Ways of death. I remember studying this particular verse before. There's ways. Yeah, it says the same thing in the NIV. There's a way that seems right, but its end is the way to death. All right. There's only one way, and that's Jesus. A worker's appetite works for him. His mouth urges him on. All right. You're hungry, you're going to work. 27. A worthless man plots evil, and his speech is like a scorching fire. What is on his lips? A worthless man plots evil. A scoundrel plots evil, and his speech is like a scorching fire, it says in NIV. 28. A dishonest man spreads strife, and a whisperer separates close friends. Now this is one of the things God detests more than anything. You know what this is? Let's see what it says in here. Yeah, it says it better in the NIV. A perverse man stirs up dimension, and a gossip separates close friends. Okay? The Lord hates gossip. If somebody comes to you with a problem, keep it to yourself. Don't go spreading it around. That's gossip. Whether you mean good or not, it's gossip. Don't spread it. Don't start it. And if somebody comes and tells you something, put your hand up. I don't want to hear it. Let it stop with you. Okay? That's what a whisperer is, a gossip. Did you hear what happened to so-and-so? No. 29. A man of violence entices his neighbor and leads him in a way that is not good. Right. It's said in the last chapter to get along with your neighbors. Okay, 30. Whoever winks his eye plans dishonest things. He who purses his lips brings evil to pass. You know, it used to be in the old days when somebody was doing something evil and they would go like this. Got it? We're going to tell this guy that this thing is brand new, but it's not. Got it? Wink, wink. Right. Dishonest things. What does that say over here? He who winks his eye is plotting perversity. Purses his lips. Well, what does this say? To plan. Yeah, well, yeah. 31. Gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained in a righteous life. Right. I have gray hair. I'll admit I cover it up, but not for long. 32. Whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit, than he who takes a city. Whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city. Slow to anger. Don't fly off the handle. Right? That's everywhere. We talked about that in depth yesterday. Okay. And 31. The lot is cast into the lap, but every decision is from the Lord. Okay. They used to draw lots for things. Okay. Long shot and one short straw. And they would cast lots, and whoever got the short straw was the one that was chosen. And they're saying if you're chosen, then the decision is from the Lord. Okay? It doesn't happen by accident. So, there you go. That's 16. We highlighted some stuff in here. All this goes together. And it even goes down with 9. We made those blue on purpose. Okay? The plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. Okay? And down on 9, the heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. Okay? Make all the plans you want, but God's going to have his way. Okay? If you're following the Lord, he's going to have his way. And if you're not following the Lord, then you're like all these foolish people that he talks about everywhere. Right. We highlighted 4. The Lord made everything for its purpose, even the wicked for the day of trouble. Okay? God made everything. Satan made nothing. He doesn't have the power to make anything, only to pervert things that God made. That means every single thing on earth you can touch, feel, taste, hear, see. Okay. The Lord even made the devil who turned against him. Okay. We highlighted part of verse 6. Fear of the Lord. By fear of the Lord, one turns away from evil. Right? 8. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues with injustice. All right. You want to sleep at night? Don't do that. Right. We did 1 over 9 with the first part of it. And we highlighted 16. How much better to get wisdom than gold? To get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. Then, now the overriding theme of Proverbs is if you go after wisdom and knowledge, the rest will follow. Okay? It just does. Okay? And Grandma's verse 18, pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. Right? Pride goeth before a fall. What's that say over here? Pride goes, yeah, it says the exact same thing in the NIV. And 22, good sense is a fountain of life to him who has it. If you don't have good sense, you can pray for wisdom. If you ask God for wisdom, he gives to all without finding fault. Okay? You just have to ask for it. And one of the ways to get wisdom is to study this Proverbs and the Bible every day. Okay? 24. Gracious words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul. Say nice things. 28. We highlighted. A dishonest man spreads strife, and a gossip separates close friends. Got that. 30. Whoever winks his eye plans dishonest things, and he who purses his lips brings evil to pass. Get that? Wink, wink. Nod, nod. Dishonest plans. Right. So, there you have it. We didn't highlight this, but we should. We'll make it green. Whoever's slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city. Okay? Slow to anger and rule your spirit. The human spirit tends to jump off the handle, fly off the handle at things. The Holy Spirit steps in and says, now hold off. Okay. So, there you have it. That is Proverbs 16 for January 16th. We're going to continue our Through the Bible in 1 year. We're going back to Genesis today. We finished Job yesterday, and if you missed yesterday, you should go back and catch it, because that was the Lord speaking, and it was really interesting. He talked about dinosaurs and fire-breathing dragons and stuff, and it was pretty amazing. So I'm looking what today is. So today we're doing Genesis 12 through 15, the call of Abram. So that'll be interesting. So catch that later on. Give us a like if you think about it. Helps me out. But till later, be good, be humble. See ya.